Well, welcome back to the channel. My name is Randall. This is the McClures. We react, review, we make fun of, we laugh at stuff. Link is in the description if you want to help support the channel. And you can shop McClures.com if you want to help the country buy quality American products. Also help support the channel. ShopMcClures.com is the website you need to go to. All right, we're going to be checking out an InfoWars story today, or a news article posted on InfoWars. Looks like it was written by Dan Dix of Press for Truth. And this is Media Moguls Confronted and Dinner Party Exposed at the Bilderberg 2023. Now, if you're not aware, Bilderberg is a get-together of highfalutin, influential, rich people. So they can, I don't know, pat each other on the back for being super rich, I guess. But, yeah, so we're going to get into this article and see what they're talking about. So it says, some of the world's most powerful and influential people continue to meet behind the wall of security and strict rules of secrecy. Later in the evening, acting on a tip, successfully located the location of a Bilderberg dinner party, where some of the world's most powerful and influential people continue to meet behind heavy walls of security and strict rules of secrecy. So let's take a look at these videos and see what we're talking about here.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth. We're here in Lisbon, Portugal to cover the 69th annual Bilderberg conference. And, you know, I figured I would dress appropriately for this year's meeting. Let me know what you think of my attire and what you think the Bilderberg group's going to think of my attire.
Good shirt.
I'm going to try to catch some of them today as they exit the hotel. See if we can get in some decent conversations. Is that Matthias? Hello. Matthias, Mr. Dubner. How are you, sir? Yeah, I spoke with you in Italy and Turin, sir. You gave me
I remember that.
You do remember. Yeah, you gave me a nice, candid interview.
I told you this is one of the most interesting, inspiring conference that I've ever attended.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your interest.
So you're in favor of the kind of frank discussions under Chatham House rules?
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely think so.
Yeah. What would you say to the people who are concerned about the secrecy?
I think a society needs both transparency about conversations, but it also needs conversations without media. I'm saying that as a media representative. I think it's just normal. I think there's really nothing special about it. There are hundreds of conferences like that. I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
I appreciate your interest and I fully understand it. We just wanted to have a walk and talk a little bit. Would that be okay if
fair enough.
Come to an end sooner or later?
Sure thing. Yeah, it's a very rare opportunity we get to speak with people of your stature, so appreciate it.
Well, he seems to like a nice guy. It's kind of weird because he's probably super evil and creepy.
Geopolitical realignment's been a topic at Bilderberg in terms of geopolitical realignment's going on everywhere. But I'm really well, me too. We're getting this one. I'm going backwards, you're going forwards. I'm impressed. But you're in fantastic shape. I can't say that everyone here is in shape as you are. So, as the editor-in-chief of The Economist, a major, important publication, will you be reporting at all on this year's Bilderberg meeting?
No, and I think we've had this conversation before. This conference is, as you know, under Chatham House rules, and it's an incredibly useful and interesting place to.
What do they call it under cat and mouse rules?
And I respect the rules of it, and so I won't. No.
Okay, now Chatham House rules say that you can disclose things that are said, just without attribution. You cannot say who said what, but you're allowed to discuss what was said. So, does the conference no longer go by Chatham House rules? Has there been an amendment to Chatham House rules?
Has there been an amendment?
Oh, Mr. Dufner.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes,
You
sir.
ask one last question. I try to answer it, and then you let us have our walk. We want to walk a little faster and do some kind of conversation among ourselves.
We're trying to backroom wheel and deal on this little stroll, bro. You're interrupting.
Of whom I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
And I get a lot of inspiration. I told you last time, on panels at Davos and all.
So both the
But in
important
terms of the
people
people who are
here. Oh, that
concerned
guy
with the
has the neck
secrecy,
too.
what would you say to the people who are concerned about the secrecy?
Chatham House rules say you can disclose what is said and discussed just without.
Watch your back.
Be careful, I'm really worried about it.
Without attribution.
Right. You know what? I think that is the beauty of it. You need both, as I said. You need, on the one hand, transparency, but you also need to have the possibility to discuss things in a circle where media are not attending. The transparency, I think, of the conference is pretty impressive. You have the program online and accessible to everybody, so you know exactly the topics that we are discussing. You know the participants, and I think that's compared to other conferences, and I attend a lot of them. I think that is quite a role model of transparency. So I think there
Okay,
is.
comparing it to Davos.
Yeah.
Davos, it gets compared to Davos all the time.
Davos is
the talks are
4,500.
The talks are live streamed.
Yeah.
So how is this
4,000 participants or more. That's totally uncomparable. So I think it needs both, and that's the plurality.
I think you
of
just
conferences
said, like,
and
we have way more secret
Thank
meetings
you.
than this
Appreciate it.
conference, so you should be happy. That's what he said, right?
Thank you. Bye.
Big fan. I'll watch out for your articles and
Thank you. I appreciate it.
YouTube reports and whatnot.
So that was chief editor of The Economist, and Matthias Döpfner. He is someone I managed to speak to in Italy tour in Italy, and
Matthias
remarkably he
Döpfner,
remembers
huh?
our conversation and pretty much gave us similar responses as to following Chatham House rules and being able to discuss things open and frankly, and still has no issues with the fact that it's happening under such extreme secrecy. Continues to feel that that's how it should be carried out. Mr. Karp, will you be talking about how AI is potentially going to be a downfall of society, sir?
Tem que se afastar, se faz favor. Para trás.
Mr. Karp!
Para trás das
What are you
grades.
doing,
I
Policia?
don't understand Portuguese.
Mr. Karp!
Tem que ir
How
para lá
does
para trás.
Palantir factor into the AI question, the AI topic at Bilderberg? One question about Palantir, Mr. Karp. Thank you.
Para trás das grades.
That's not
So that
Teal,
was
is it?
Sam Karp.
Walking in the white shirt. Is that Mr. Teal? Can we get a wave? Is that him?
Good looking Policia.
Mr. Teal.
So that was Sam Karp. He's on the steering committee of Alex Karp on the steering committee of Bilderberg, also one of the main contributors, and we believe that might have been Peter Thiel behind him, who we didn't catch until he was already up there, who I wanted to discuss and ask him about his connections to Epstein. Allegedly, according to an article 2 days ago from the New York Times, Peter Thiel met with Epstein multiple times about a decade ago, back in 2011. So we still might have a chance to get that question in if they come out again. We'll see.
Interesting.
Is this not public property right here?
No.
It is public. It's public sidewalk.
Public is that way.
Yeah, this is a public sidewalk right here.
No.
It's not a public sidewalk?
No.
I think it is, sir.
Quando a polícia diz que não é, não é. Vai para aquele lado, se achar.
Restricted place for the rich people.
I don't think they
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
It's another
Well, they
country,
can't
bro.
restrict a public, under Section 72, Section 2 under the Criminal Code. You can't block me from doing this work on a public street.
Oh, actually, it's under international.
well,
Huh, 'cause
yes.
it's under.
Boa tarde. Já conseguiu
I'm not causing a problem.
a solução que pretendia?
You have the tape here. You have it here. I'll stay here. If you
Stay
want us
over
there,
there.
you
Yes.
put the tape over there then.
Será essa aqui?
That's how that works. All right, guys. So typically on the Saturday of their meeting, they'll usually leave the building. I remember in tour in Italy, they went to some sort of automobile museum, and other places they would kind of go around and tour the city, see something in town. And they usually typically do this around 7:30 or so. They go out for dinner. So our friend Giorgio here has a little bit of the scoop on where they might be meeting for dinner tonight. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so
Well, actually, we received a sort of hint that the dinner will happen at the Palacio Nacional de Ajuda, which is one of the main national palaces where there is also a museum. So now we are heading there to see if it's true or not.
right. So it's possible they're putting the two events together, having a visit to a museum and a dinner all in one location. So if we manage to get over there before they do, it's quite possible it won't be as locked down as the hotel is. And maybe we'll be able to get in some decent question with these guys.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully. We'll see. Wish us luck. So this is the palace that they're about to meet at, which is basically a museum and a dinner hall. And we saw a bunch of coach buses that will be picking them up. So we are going to
It's not
pick
in
a little
Italy. I think it's in
rendezvous spot
Portugal.
and watch for the buses
Is that
to
what they
leave.
said?
And that will be our cue to go get into
Why
position.
is the chat not showing up on the screen?
So these are the coach buses that are now on their way to pick up the Bilderburg members. All right, gentlemen, it's our time to shine. Go time.
Oh, wow,
Guys.
seduta, ci porti seduta.
Do
No,
you speak English?
speak
A little?
English. Why?
Because I was under the understanding that under Section 79, Article 2 of your criminal code, we're allowed to document this as journalists without being infringed upon.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Turn off.
You don't know
Can I
the
not
code,
use
buddy.
word?
Turn off.
Why can't I?
Turn off, please.
I'd like
Can
to
you turn
record
off?
this.
Or I take.
I didn't hear
Okay,
take
anybody
the phone.
say
All right,
it.
I'll
Yeah?
turn it off.
Turn off.
I didn't
please.
hear anybody say
All right, police are getting a little aggressive with us, forcing us to move way back,
Are the
not allowing us to
policia
record,
in
threatening to
Italy as
take
well?
my camera and footage.
Take out the phone, please.
So we're
Take
okay.
out the phone, please.
So as you guys saw, these massive group of thugs just came and pushed us into this pen. This little tiny pen in a field, and they're just surrounding us to ensure that we don't leave our little enclosed area, because us four journalists are so dangerous to these delegates and participants that we have to be herded.
Oh, they could
into
have
a
a whole
field.
canal set up. Herd canal set up for him. Oh, she was talking in Italian?
Pretty ridiculous. It's going to be awful hard to get some decent questions in or shots to any of these people from here.
Who was speaking in Italian? The police officer lady?
Yeah, like as if I'm going to be confined like a sheep in a pen. I got the heck out of there, and I found this little road, which has a view of where the people are going to be pulling out of the buses. So I'm just going to hang out right here, and hopefully the police leave me alone. And as soon as the buses come in,
We're definitely a little
what I
bit
can do.
jealous of this guy's job,
buses
though.
are coming up now. Buses are coming.
Obviously,
I'm on the move.
kind of boring and mundane, just sitting around waiting
Oh
to
wow, they're
capture the
pulling
photo.
right underneath.
But how interesting to be able to travel, to other countries and just check this out. I'd be scared to be a journalist in other countries, though. I mean, they get harassed enough just here in America, where they're supposedly protected under the Constitution. I can only imagine how much shit they take in other countries.
This is a whole busload of Bilderberg members getting off at this museum and the location for their dinner. Wish I had a better zoom right now. They're all about to enjoy their cocktails at this big palace. And we just got busloads and busloads of them. I thought that this police officer was going to give me some issues, but he's being totally fine. Oh man, they're all just mingling there. I need a better zoom. Oh, I think that might have been Christia.
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe they have like private security that they bring with.
Pretty easily recognizable just from the way she walks. So that's that. It looks like my strategy to not stay in that little pen. They wanted to be us way over there, way over there.
Group probably they're probably rich enough to have their own international police force that fucking travels with them.
Well, guys, as I've said before, they keep making this more and more increasingly difficult. Going the extra mile to make sure they are not seen. It's a little windy up here. Hopefully you can still hear me. But obviously we're not going to, stop in our relentless efforts. Hopefully we can catch up with some of these guys at the airport tomorrow morning. Catch them as they're trying to escape. And hopefully we run into some better luck there. So we'll see. All right, guys. Some of them have just popped out onto the balcony. Schmoozing in this massive palace.
Definitely would be interesting to be a fly on a wall during one of these meetings.
It's hard to identify them from this far back. But these cops here are not letting me get any closer. Royalty, prime ministers, politicians,
Some beautiful chandeliers, though, for
general
sure.
policymakers, heads of finance, heads of media. All up there right now, meeting. And the deputy prime minister doesn't even have this listed on her itinerary. But there she is. Somewhere in there. You know, there is an inner circle within the inner circle, if you will, of Bilderburg. And sure, this is pure speculation, but I believe that it is these moments when they're schmoozing like this, where someone like a Kissinger or someone of that nature may pull someone off to the side in a private little bar area and maybe pitch some new position or new idea to them and feel them out. See if they're really willing to go along with the agenda, because to a great extent, these guys are like recruiters, like talent scouts almost, to try to find the next up-and-coming.
This is also probably a good place where they pull people aside and be like, hey, remember that vacation you took 2 years ago? We got all that on video, and we're going to need you to do X, Y, Z.
Mr. Schellenberg.
Minister of Foreign Affairs of
Epstein's
Austria.
got the hookup.
Mr. Schellenberg,
Nebulous.
I saw energy transition on the Bilderberg key topics list. How is Austria proceeding with the energy transition?
Not even looking at us. Alright, looks like they might be starting to exit the premises. Yeah, we got a number of them walking out now, making their way to their bus like a bunch of school children. Okay, everybody, time to board the bus.
That's one thing that's kind of funny to me. I don't know if you guys have ever worked for like a big corporation or went on a company.
Christia in the red dress, maybe? Kind of behind some people now.
Well, that's weird. My mouse doesn't work to pause it. We used the keyboard though. That worked. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever worked for a big corporation or been on a company retreat or anything like that. It was always pretty funny to me how they orchestrated this. So I was an insurance agent for a long time for a major company, and me and my wife went on a few of the corporate trips that we won in my early days, my rookie days, and yeah, it was pretty interesting because like the agent that I bought the office from, she is, you know, kind of a fancy lady. And most of these agency owners are, they're kind of snooty type people, I would say, if I had to generalize or categorize them. So it was funny to see on these business trips when they take all these so-called important rich people and they shuttle them around like fifth graders. And they're like, all right, here's your lunch. And then you need to get on the bus. And then you need to go here. And I found that funny during the trips. I had that same thought that he just had right there. They're going around like fifth graders. Mario Draghi, a major bank economist, used to attend these events all the time. He became prime minister in Italy. And then tell me these people are not corrupt. Yeah, no, they're definitely corrupt. They're definitely corrupt. That's why we're watching the video. Definitely why we're watching the video.
Yeah, I think that might be her. Yeah, that's her.
I don't understand why I can't pause it,
That's
though. Why
her,
is my
all right.
mouse not working?
Christia Freeland! Christia, the Canadian people know you're meeting in secret now. It's official.
So that was important to
Deputy
them.
Prime
I don't know who
Minister of Canada
Christia
just boarded
Freeland
that
is.
bus with a bunch of what she once called in her paper the plutocracy hereditary elite class that she is now a proud member of.
Ah, interesting.
So
Okay.
now we are in an Uber following the motorcade of the buses to try to get back to the hotel in time to see if we can catch them going on in again. Oh man, I am getting too old for this stuff. Okay, let's go get us some Bilderburgers.
Bilderburgers?
Well, that didn't work. Looks like the best shots that I'll have gotten were going to be from the actual gala dinner from when they were boarding the bus. But I don't know, maybe back when I used to cover this almost 2 decades ago, I would have been able to make it there in time. But I don't know, maybe I'm getting too old for this stuff. But hey, I tried. I certainly tried. But there's still tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. This is when they all start departing. It's going to be a full day of going down to the airport. I've heard that Christia Freeland likes to go for a morning jog. Apparently this morning she was out at around 7:45 a.m.
Right.
So I'm going to be down there at the Bilderburg Hotel bright and early tomorrow morning around 7 a.m. to see if I can catch her going for a jog. And after that, I'll be heading down to the airport for a very full day of filming these guys as they try to make their escape.
So we got a couple more videos
get the heck
from
out
this
of Dodge.
guy.
So,
I kind of like these
again,
videos.
guys, if
you
you
guys
appreciate
are
all my
interested,
efforts to bring
I
you
kinda wanna
this
check out some
information,
more.
once again, please check that top link
So
in the
we're gonna
description
jump into this
to where you
next
can
one.
support my efforts.
And,
This is Dan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth. I'm here
if
on
you don't
location
wanna
at the
watch
site of
them,
the
let me know.
69th
We can
annual
always move on.
Bilderburg Conference in Lisbon, Portugal. As you can see, the security is already set up behind me. They are already under lockdown, and the participants are under strict rules of secrecy. Now, according to the website, the 69th Bilderburg meeting will take place from the 18th to the 21st of May 2023 in Lisbon, Portugal. About 130 participants from 23 countries
there you
have
go,
confirmed
Gremlin.
their
They are in
attendance.
Portugal.
As ever, a diverse group of political leaders and experts from industry, finance, and academia, labor, and the media have been invited. So to get this started, let's kick this off with some of the politicians and policymakers who are inside that building right now. We've got Christia Freeland. She, of course, is the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada. She's also the U.S. Managing Editor of the Financial Times and leads the editorial development of the paper's U.S. edition.
Interesting.
And she's also on the Board of Trustees trustees of the World Economic Forum. She fits right in to the inner circle of the global elite. And in fact, over a decade ago, she wrote a paper titled The Rise of the New Global Elite. And in it, she speaks about the WEF and the Bilderberg Group, saying to grasp the difference between today's plutocrats and the hereditary elite, who, to use John Stuart Mill's memorable phrase, grow rich in their sleep, one need merely glance at the events that now fill high-end social calendars. The debutante balls and hunts and regattas of yesteryear may not be quite obsolete, but they are headed in that direction. The real community life of the 21st century plutocracy occurs on the international conference circuit. The best known of these events is the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland, invitation to which marks an aspiring plutocrat's arrival on the international scene. The Bilderberg Group, which meets annually at locations in Europe and North America, is more reclusive still and more secretive, though it is more focused on geopolitics and less on global business and philanthropy. Now, she, of course, is Justin Trudeau's number 2, who is meeting in there.
All right, so that's interesting. So they're saying that the Davos meeting in Switzerland is the entry-level secret society meeting. If you get into that one, you get into the game, but you're actually a player in the game if you get to the Bilderberg meeting. Interesting.
They're now with the plutocracy and the hereditary elite that she wrote about as being extremely exclusive and secretive. So if I get a chance to see her at any point over the next few days, I'm certainly going to give her a piece of my mind. Now, some other notable politicians and policymakers, particularly in Europe, are Alexander Scholensberg. He's the Austrian Minister for the European and International Affairs. We've got Roberta Metsola, the President of the European Parliament. There's Josep Borrell. He's the Vice President of the European Commission. We've got Mette Frederiksen. She is the Prime Minister of Denmark. There's also Mark Rutte, the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. And also Sanna Marin. She is the former Prime Minister of Finland, just to name a few. Now, if you don't think that any of these people are extremely powerful...
Now, excuse my retarded Americanness, but Prime Minister, is that equivalent to President? I would assume so. I think it's the same equivalent, right? Because the Prime Minister of Canada is Trudeau, and they act like he's the president.
Or hold any ability to sway the direction of the world, that's because you've probably never heard of this group, and that is by design as well, because there are currently more journalists on the inside of that building than there are on the outside covering it. Some of those notable names include Anne Applebaum. She's a staff writer for The Atlantic. We've got Madeleine von Holtzen. She's an editor-in-chief for Le Temps. There's Shashank Joshi, editor for The Economist. We've got John Micklethwait. This is the editor-in-chief for Bloomberg. There's Zanny Minton-Bedos. This is the editor-in-chief for The Economist. And Gideon Rachman. He's the chief foreign affairs commentator for the Financial Times. There's Matthias Döpfner, chair and CEO of Axel Springer. He gave me a very candid interview when I saw him in Turin, Italy. There's Martina Solomon. She is the editor-in-chief of Courier, which is a German daily newspaper based in Vienna. There's also Yan Yang. She is the European China correspondent for the Financial Times. And finally, we've got Barson Yinok. She is a journalist for a news website called T24. So we've got The Atlantic, the Financial Times.
Interesting. That is definitely interesting. What's curious to me, though, or I'd be curious to see, is, from my understanding, like, journalists weren't allowed into these meetings previously. When did this switch occur where now all of a sudden major editors are allowed behind the scenes in meetings that typically people didn't want the news to know about? That's what's curious to me. That's one of the reasons I clicked on this article, because it was saying that basically journalists are behind the scenes at the Bilderberg and won't be writing about it. That's very interesting to me. Very, very interesting to me.
Economists, Bloomberg, some of the most powerful and influential media organizations in the world are in there right now. And again, they're under strict rules of secrecy. This is why we are here on the outside doing the reporting that they are failing to do right now. And here you can see a motorcade entering right now. A number of police officers being paid for with the taxpayers' dollars here in Lisbon, Portugal, as they are escorting in some of the more VIP attendees who, again, get a police escort on the taxpayer dollar. Some other very notable names on...
If you're asking if this guy is an independent journalist, I assume he is. It's pressfortruth.ca. It's what it says on this little thing here. I'm not sure. I didn't actually do some research. I found this article on InfoWars. So they do post a lot of independent journalists' work. So that's probably correct.
On the list this year are Sam Altman. He's a CEO.
But if you were asking about the people on the inside being independent, no, they're editors of The Economist and, other stuff. Yeah, so the media people on the inside, there were some of the lists that he was talking about there. So, economists for major publications, or editors for Economist magazines. The one media girl from Canada, or I guess she's the assistant prime minister, but also a head media person.
CEO of OpenAI. He's also now a member of the Bilderburg Steering Committee, and he regularly donates to the cause of the Bilderburg meeting each year. We've got Albert Bourla. This is the chair and CEO of Pfizer Incorporated. We've got Borg Brend. He is the president of the World Economic Forum. Of course, there's Eric Schmidt, the former CEO and chair of Google, a man I've confronted on multiple occasions. We've got Jens Stoltenberg, Secretary General of NATO. We've got Peter Thiel, president of Thiel Capital. And of course, who could forget Henry Kissinger, chairman of Kissinger Associates, who turns 100 years old next week. So what are some of the topics on this year's agenda? Well, over the 17 years that I've been covering this, they never used to release this information. It's only in recent years that they've essentially been forced to hide in plain sight. So some of those topics are AI, also known as artificial intelligence. Big tech is being highly represented here. The leaders and innovators of this new emerging technology they're discussing it now, and obviously there's a major potential downside for society should this technology eventually become uncontrollable, which really isn't a word in their vocabulary. Number 2 is the banking system, which also ties into number 6, fiscal challenges. And of course, their challenge right now is to convince everyone in the world that a centralized digital currency, also known as a CBDC or a central bank digital currency, is what the world needs for all their economic woes. We've got China and India on the list, which is rather vague. And of course, these globalists love the Chinese model of how they are able to have so much control over their population. So they're discussing how to bring that to the West. We've got energy transition and industrial policy and trade are also on the list. And as journalist Charlie Skelton points out, there's a heady whiff of big oil at this year's Bilderberg. The participants list includes Bernard Looney, this is the CEO of British Petroleum, Sir John Sawyers, the director of BP, Patrick Pouyanné of France, chair and CEO of Total Energies, Patricia Barbazet, director of Total Energies. We've got Felipe Silva, the CEO of Galp. Ben van Beurden, this is a special advisor to the board and former CEO of Shell. And Dombisa Moyo, the director of Chevron.
Well, if you guys aren't on Rumble, we got a recommendation to check out some Luciferians. Apparently, they live longer than usual people for some reason. I'm interested, bro, for sure. We might get into that today.
Also on the list are Europe, NATO, Russia and Ukraine, and perhaps transnational threats can be lumped in with those. Now, this obviously has to
did
do
you
with
see
the
the last
escalating
one on the
tensions
list?
of war, but let's
US
not forget
leadership.
that it is the Bilderberg Group who plans these events in advance ahead of the public's knowledge of it. Case in point, back in 2016, I released a video titled Bilderberg Documents Leaked, Iraq War Plan Exposed. And this is where I showed you that the idea of Saddam Hussein having weapons of mass destruction was hatched by the Bilderberg Group. The members were influenced with this idea. They then went out and perpetuated it amongst the masses who bought it hook, line, and sinker. And then this eventually, 1 year later, marched us into a war in Iraq with the people getting behind it. Of course, this was all hatched at Bilderberg 1 year earlier. And lastly on the list, we've got U.S. leadership. And let's face it, guys, they might as well have just put Donald Trump right there on the agenda list for topics to discuss, because he's ultimately a puppet controlled just...
That was going to be my question. I was curious to see where he was going to take it. Is U.S. leadership, a synonym for we need to discuss Donald Trump? Or were they discussing what to do about Biden now that it looks like they're going to have to lock up Hunter? There's just too much public evidence. I don't know how they're going to wiggle around that. So it looks like the Democrats are throwing Biden under the bus. I really think they're going to go with Michelle. I think they're going to put Michelle up. You know, they want the first tranny president, so they're going to run Michelle for sure. Yeah, I'm curious. But like you said there, prior to Iraq war, he released notes from a Bilderberg meeting where they basically gamed it out there. So it is interesting to find out what these sadistic, evil, pedophilic people are gaming out in this meeting right here. Saying the Luciferians are already in charge. That's facts. We are definitely run by some sadistic, pedophilic weirdos. Is Rockefeller still alive? I don't know if the dad's still alive. The Rockefeller family is still doing their thing. But I don't know if the dad is. Or the, patriarch for the family. And Krebelis served for 22 years. All wars are connected. That's facts. That is definitely facts, for sure. Definitely facts.
Like the rest of them, because
But yeah, after we get done checking out this, if you guys want to check out some Luciferian stuff, let me know where to look. What should we what video should we check out?
Let's face it, in this day and age of the parasitic elite, you don't become president of the United States unless these guys allow it. Now, I should say this participants list and this official agenda topics list has just...
Or what he said right there, or in Trump's case, they didn't think it was possible. Like, I really think that's how Trump slipped through and was able to win in 2016. Obviously, they cheat every year, but I don't think they planned for the overwhelming enthusiasm that was following Trump into the election. And they couldn't overcome the, the flood of new voters. Which is why, when they did it for Biden, he became the most voted in history. Because they had to so overcompensate with their fraud because of how many votes he actually brings in. That it increased the amount of Americans who vote by an obnoxious amount, which probably didn't happen. We need a real leader, hail honesty, accountability, integrity, and loyalty. I'm not sure if you get all of those with Trump, but you definitely get more than you'd get with any other politician. I don't know. The fact that he's the only politician or president to go into office and not make money, that alone says he should be reelected. You know what I mean? I think Obama came into office worth like 100K and he left worth 100 million. So that's a nice presidency right there. That's a nice presidency. I think Trump lost billions of dollars. The Democrats were all super excited. They finally got the tax returns released. And all it showed is Trump took a massive hit to be able to do what he did. 8 years. Let's get the taxes to prove he's a fucking Russian agent. And all it proved is he loves America more than money, which nobody would have thought about Trump. Nobody would have thought that about Trump, for sure. Everybody would have thought he loved the money the most. So first you have to find a video that will tell you the story about the Luciferians, and then which secret societies they are involved with. Yeah, I think that should be top priority for Trump when he gets in office. Yeah, he needs to actually drain the swamp like we hoped he was going to do last time. I don't think he had the ability to drain the swamp last time because he didn't know the swamp. He didn't know where the deep parts were. He didn't know where the fucking monsters were lingering. But now that he's done 4 years in office, he is aware of the swamp. He is aware of the swamp. Is the audio when I play the video echoing for you guys? I just realized right now, I looked at myself, I don't even have my headphones on. So when I play the audio on the video, does it sound echoed to you? Because I was just thinking maybe you guys are hearing it on both the mic and through the streaming. I didn't even realize that. Amik, what's good, brother? What's good? Yeah, let me know if the audio is messed up. Meek's had a bad day. He needs to listen to some Cal Scrubby. We're actually on the Bilderburg group right now. We're checking out the billionaires over in Portugal planning the demise of the planet so they can rule the much smaller population they would like to control. Okay, no echo, and you guys can hear the audio from the report good? You know, if that works, I would rather not have to have fucking headphones, so if we could do that, that would be fantastic. That would definitely be fantastic.
Being released yesterday morning, so I'm going to continue to dig deep, do a lot of research on this while I'm here. This is just the beginning. This is just kicking off day one of the meeting for these guys. So stick around as I continue to expose the Bilderberg group doing the work that the mainstream media is simply not willing to do. So,
all right, so that was just a little test run right there. I wanted to check and see if the actual mic was picking up all the audio, and it says that it is. But on your guys's, it doesn't mess anything up. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear the video good. Yeah, this is our last chance for sure. If Democrats are in control of America for the next 6 years, we're fucked. Like, we really are. You know what I mean? Like, we would really be screwed. Oh, BMC on YouTube. I appreciate it. Let me know they can hear it good. Okay. All right, that's definitely interesting then. So if I don't have to use headphones anymore, that's... Which I still have a headphone in my ear. That's funny. We're not actually using that one, though. It's just in there. I don't know about you guys, but I assume it's extremely bad for my health, but I always have one headphone in. I don't wear both of them, which I heard is a good thing, but I do always have one in at a time. You're in Canada, way north Canada, so you're good. Yeah, when everything hits the fan, we'll all be coming towards you, buddy. Good Canadian joke. How do you circumcise Joe Biden? You kick Zelensky in the jaw. That is a good joke, bro. That is a good joke. We like that. That's funny. That's funny. I don't know. I think the joke should go the other way, though. Because to me, Biden's the one blowing Zelensky. To me, it's the other way. Oh, that's funny.
So that's all for now, my friends. Please continue to tune into my coverage of the 69th Annual Bilderberg Conference here in Lisbon, Portugal. And if you appreciate my efforts to...
We do appreciate your efforts. All right, so we got 2 more videos from this guy covering the Bilderberg meeting. This one is about apparently bomb-sniffing dogs in a lockdown. You guys want to continue on this Bilderberg thing and keep checking out these guys' videos? Or would you like to switch up topics and dive down this Luciferian rabbit hole? Oh, no, I definitely don't think one party is good and one party is bad. They're both corrupt as fuck, for sure. But I do like the Dan Bongino saying, I don't know if you guys have ever listened to him. He says that Republicans will not fix your problems, but Democrats cause them all. So I think I agree. I'm in agreement with that. I think the problem with Republicans is they're just such cuck pussies who want to be liked. That they go along with the left because they understand that the left controls most of society and they want to be a part of that society. So I think that's their issue. Yeah, Trump is the only president in modern history to not be bought by the military-industrial complex. So he actually doesn't want war because he really cares that people don't die for no reason. Which is weird. Which is weird for a billionaire to give a fuck about people. It's definitely weird. It's definitely weird. All right, why are there no Democrats on Star Trek? Because they don't plan to work for the people in the future either. I think they're all Democrats on Star Trek, though. Isn't that like the ideal socialist society where everybody is assigned a role by the government and they don't really have a life other than that specific role? Yeah, I think that's a little subtle brainwashing to society on how they would like us to actually be. It's corruption and power. Trump cares for the nation. That's facts. That is definitely facts. That's something, like, even if you're on the left and you don't like Trump, you can't deny his ability to lead. Meaning, in political history, other than maybe, you know, crazy dictators that mandate all their society show up and be super excited when they have a speech or something. In America, to get 50,000 people all to the same place and pay to go there is pretty freaking difficult. It's pretty freaking difficult. Especially when you're not going to be entertaining them as far as what you would think is entertainment. right? So to think that 50,000 people will buy a ticket, travel hours, wait in line for hours in the cold and the rain and the snow, all to hear a politician speak is kind of mind-blowing. It's kind of mind-blowing. And I think it just goes to how bad society is yearning for actual leadership and people who will do what they say they're going to do. Everybody is so used to being lied to and manipulated. It's almost jarring, and I think that's part of the Trump derangement syndrome, is they're jarred by people doing and executing what they say they're going to do. So that's one thing that's pretty crazy. Facebook blocked one of your posts because you said Trump is the only president who didn't start a war since Bush. I think it's even further back than Bush, no? I think it might even be further back than Bush. But why would they block that post? Because that's 100% facts. 100% facts. He's the only president in the last 20 years for Putin not to take over a country during. I think during Bush and both terms of Biden. That was a Freudian slip, but it still worked. So during Biden candidacy or presidency, he took Crimea, and then I think under Bush he took another country. I don't remember. I don't think they ended up keeping the other one during Bush. I think during the negotiations they got something out of it or something like that. They said the independent fact checker said it was false. What's funny about the independent fact checkers is they'll be like, this post is false, but they won't tell you why it's false or what the actual correct thing is. You know what I mean? Like if you post the sky is blue and the fact checkers just come back and say, no, it's not. What? Why can't you say, well, that's because it's green? Fact check, the sky is not blue, it's actually green. That would be a fact check. But yeah, they don't do real fact checking, apparently. So that's weird. So BMC Design Creations have posted in the chat on YouTube. I don't get very many YouTube followers. I'm really shadow banned on YouTube. I posted a video like 3 days ago that has no views, 0 views. I've been on YouTube for months now. I could post a fart and it would get more than 1 view. So the fact that it's gotten 0 views, I think it's because I put illegals in the title. The video is about them kicking hotel or wedding parties out of hotels, canceling wedding party bookings at hotels because now they need the hotels for illegals. So they're telling people that, plan to stay at the wedding that they have to change reservations. The one girl was all pissed. She's got people flying in from all over the globe. And now they don't have anywhere for them to stay. Sad for the chick, but pathetic for the country that we're kicking people out of hotels, paying people out of hotels so that illegals can stay for free. Absolutely nuts. All right, do you guys want to continue on with the Bilderberg and check out another video or two by this guy? Or do we want to move on to the Luciferian segment of today and go check out some Luciferians? The Centrist Gremlin has 15 followers on YouTube, so make sure you guys go check him out. Get him up to 20. That would be tight. He has fun mixing music. So does that mean you take like an Eminem song and you mix it with, a Metallica song? Like that type of mixing? Eminem bars over Metallica beats, or Metallica beats over Eminem bars? All right, the centrist does not like to have too strong of opinions. All right. We're getting to know you. We're getting to know you. I am curious about the lockdown and the bomb sniffing dogs. So, yeah, let's check out this one real quick.
This is Dandix here, reporting for Press for Truth, coming at you here in Lisbon, Portugal, reporting on the annual 2023 Bilderburg conference. Now, this is one day before the meeting is set to kick off, and this is typically the time that they start to lock things down, do a bit of a security sweep, kick everyone out of the hotel, and basically get it ready for the arrival of the Bilderberg members. So this is all kicking off today. It's my second.
I couldn't remember the name of the drug, but ecstasy. Ecstasy is the preferred drug for techno and house music. If I remember correctly from high school.
Day here, but it's essentially day one of the major coverage coming. So let's see what we can see today. I've got one friend on the inside, and obviously they're going to try to get rid of us as quick as they can. So let's see what we can get today. Oh, he does have
an inside person. Interesting.
So we're inside the hotel right now. This is presumably the meeting place. The seats are set up for about 120 to 130 people, which generally comprises the Bilderberg group. They're shutting down this place in a couple of hours from now, as soon as the last few remaining guests check out. And then this place will
Honestly, I've been to quite a few hotel banquet dinners, and if they're finished setting this up, somebody cheaped out at the Bilderberg group, because, yeah, that's not looking too hot, dude.
Fortress in a matter of hours from now, but it appears this is the main location, potentially for their dinners and most likely for the meeting as well. Check out the photos on the wall here. We got Jerome Powell, Leon Panetta, got Tony Blair up there, Bill Clinton, Al Gore, Barroso, he's running the show here today.
What is it, the wall of pedos?
Madeleine Albright. A lot of interesting characters on the walls here. Very interesting. Prince. Okay, a bunch of musicians now. This wall is the most intriguing.
You've got the sports wall, the music wall. I'm not sure which that one is, and this is the political wall.
Yeah.
Very prominent characters.
So we're with a local Portuguese activist who actually booked a room at the Bilderberg Hotel. So they're locking this place down.
That's a cool staircase.
Just after she checks out.
Hallway.
But as of for right now, we can be here because she's paying to be here.
Got a wall of politicians and bankers. Exactly.
All right, guys, that security guard behind me in the suit right there just walked up behind me out of nowhere and said, "Mr. Dix." I turned around and he's like, "We would appreciate it if you do not enter or film this private area." So
they knew you by name.
I said, "Sure, if this is a private area, no problem." So he started escorting me out, and he says, "Do you have any questions for me?" So I said, "Yeah. How do you know who I am? How did you know my name?" And he just says, "How did you know to come to this hotel?" we know things as well as you know things. And I was like, okay. So it's getting to the point where it's difficult for me to come and cover these things without being completely pegged or recognized. Again, don't know how the guy knew my name, but apparently he knows
That's
something
kind of creepy.
about what I'm here to do.
That's
so
kind of creepy.
things may get a little tricky over the next few days. We'll see what we can do. So here we are inside the hotel, and I'm here with Elena, who is a local Portuguese activist, and you managed to actually book this room, like, what, a couple of months? December. Yeah. So how did you have some sort of an inkling, or how did you get the instinct, or how did you know that this might be the actual place?
As soon as we knew that they were coming, the meeting would be held in Lisbon, I was immediately, there's not so many hotels, and I was immediately thinking which one, 5 stars, that fits around 150 people.
Yeah.
So the first one that came to mind was this one, and I checked it online, and it was already blocked for those days in May.
Right.
So I managed to book the night before.
The night before. So they're locking down like in
smart.
20 minutes from now.
Yeah.
And you had an appointment for a massage when? Tomorrow?
No, Friday.
Friday?
They canceled it last week.
Canceled it last week. So that was more confirmation, basically, that it's like, yeah, I think I got the right place.
Exactly.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for letting us, showing us around inside the Bilderburg Hotel. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
so
this should be information for
Huh, this guy does look like my
Absolutely.
cousin, huh? Or something.
No.
Why not?
No.
It's public sidewalk, right?
No.
It's not a public sidewalk?
No. This public side, but needs
Oh,
moment.
is that a man
Close,
toe?
okay?
For how long?
Close.
Are we looking at a man camel toe
Close.
right now, my guy?
Okay?
Several days. So we can't get past this point for several days?
Yeah. Around the building, okay?
Okay.
Oh, now I can't
I'll stay
stop
right here for
looking
now.
at it.
You don't feel me, okay?
Got your feet.
Yo, but I don't care, okay?
We got your
Close.
feet and your fucking man toe.
I don't have your face.
Yeah, but I don't care to wreck for me, okay?
I'm not recording you.
Yeah, you record me.
Right.
My voice,
Okay. We'll go.
okay?
That's funny, bro.
So, looks like lockdowns have begun. One officer told me earlier that only vehicles were going to be stopped from entering there, but as you just saw,
How old are the museums in that area?
that guy wasn't having it. He says we're not allowed to access that area for the next several days.
masseuse.
So they're going to make it increasingly more difficult to be able to get anything with these guys. But we're certainly not going to let that stop
But the
us
cop
from trying our
photo
best.
was funny to me.
We'll see
That
what we can
was-
do
that
to get
was
around
funny.
this
That's definitely funny.
perimeter situation. As always, stay tuned, guys. So the police came and knocked on this old man's door and told him he's got to get his car out of the area. So he's a little frustrated and confused as to why he's being displaced. Little does he know they're making way for some of the world's most powerful and influential people to descend on
We
this
got
area.
billionaires coming in, bro.
Poor
That's
guy.
why.
Looks like they got some dogs sweeping the area up there. Again, this meeting is supposed to kick off tomorrow. And it looks like they're starting the lockdown process right now. So they got these dogs going around sniffing random mailboxes and everything around the building. Again, looks like this is really all just part of them
Probably standard procedure.
searching for bombs. Obviously, they debug the room. They go through, check for any electronics that shouldn't be there. And as you can see right now, they're checking for any, I would suggest looking for any explosives in the area. Because some of the people who are coming here today are very, very powerful and influential people who have the ability to sway the direction of this world. So there are a lot of people who dislike this particular group. So the police are now doing a full sweep of the area.
Interesting, interesting.
Getting them to basically sniff every single little thing they pass. Never seen that before out of Bilderberg. Doing a full bomb sweep. Interesting.
We are trying not to block the sidewalk. Maybe there will be another place where you can stay.
Well, this guy's pants fit. That's a plus.
I don't know. You are asking like the wrong person. Okay, I'm just telling what.
Okay, obrigado.
I'm like I know. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Like we can let like the.
Miguel Ribeiro.
Yeah, if you are like. If you're not blocking anyone, I guess you can stay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Obrigado.
So one old man was already disturbed from his home and told to move his car. Well,
this guy doesn't want
looks
to
like
move.
if you didn't get the opportunity to get the knock on the door, they're just going to go ahead and come along and move your car anyways. Again, this is
Probably
quite
be so
the security
pissed they towed my
apparatus.
car in front of my house
Removing
because they wanted
vehicles from
somebody else to
around
be
the
able to park
perimeter.
there.
Bomb sniffing dogs.
So what are they doing?
The
Clearing one side of
entire
the street so the
hotel
buses
is
can get through,
surrounded
right?
by a border wall,
Yeah. That's what they're
sealed
doing.
in from the outside. And on top of that, here we have the Portuguese police about to tow away probably a resident's car, you know, somebody who's living here.
The guy's like, where the fuck do you expect us to park, asshole? There's not enough parking here anyways, in the first place. But yeah, another meeting at the same time with more powerful people. That might be true.
And there it goes.
Where do they take it to?
Not just messing everything up for everyone in the world, but messing things up for locals here in Lisbon,
impound
Portugal
yards.
as well. Way to go,
No question.
Bilderberg. Well, as you saw, guys, the place is completely locked down. They've set up a perimeter all the way around, as you saw. Now, again, this is just one day before this thing is actually supposed to kick off. Tomorrow, many of the participants are going to be arriving, and I will be there to document every single one of them as much as I can.
So it looks like we kind of went through the video
because in my experience of covering this for over 17 years now, I've discovered that there's often
that's an interesting
discrepancies
name.
within the
Welcome,
participants
welcome.
list, and you're never really going to know that unless you're here actually documenting who is truly in attendance at the.
I am definitely curious, Astro Sweat. Where the fuck does that name come from? I gotta know the story behind this shit. I got to know the story behind this. But very interesting stuff. The old Bilderberg Group 2023 looks like a heavy emphasis on having journalists there and oil people. I don't know. You read into that what you want to read into that. It's definitely interesting, though. Definitely interesting.